Okay, Elise Cranny, 4:20 in the mile, commanding win here at Boston University. How do you feel about that race?
Yeah, I feel good. Our goal today was to not focus on time, so I'm pleasantly surprised. Like, I didn't really know how fast we were running, but Brooke brought us through well and just wanted to focus closing that last 600 and get ready for some more racing.
Yeah, so how did you feel about your last 600 then?
Pretty good. I wish I would have squeezed a little bit more the last two, but I think, like I said, I'm overall pleased with the time for my first race and felt like it did what we wanted it to do, just like get back to racing after a while, get kind of that shock, and then I'll race New Balance on Sunday, the 3K, and then Millrose next week. I want to be really ready for that Millrose mile because it's stacked.
So what's the thought process between the two races this weekend then? What are you trying to accomplish there?
Yeah, I think this first one was get back into racing, but we also talked about with preparing for Grand Slam, just like practicing a little bit of that race, one day off race, and an opportunity to do a fast 3K against a really good field too while I'm over here, and yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a preview of Millrose, right? Because you've got some of the, like Georgia Bell and Jess Hull both in both races, right?
Yeah, I remember when I saw Georgia post the 3K at New Balance Millrose combo, I was like, this is gonna be really fun. And Jess, and obviously the Millrose miles. Yeah, Nikki and I were talking about the other day, just stacked.
Is the mile going to be the focus of this indoor season here? More than
kind of. I feel like my indoor season will be short. Like, it will be those 3 races. I won't do USAs or anything, so I think the big focus will be the Millrose mile, which I'm excited for.
Is that just preference, or is there sort of like a tactical training reason why you're focusing?
Yeah, mostly just like preference. Super fun. Again, getting in like a really fast field. But I also think training-wise, we've been doing a lot of strength stuff, and so I think being able to get kind of the speed in races and go under pace. I'm gonna do the 10 outdoor at the end of March, so we are kind of like, let's do a little block where we do a lot of stuff like far under 10K pace, just so when we go back we can keep working on that strength, but I think just efficiency-wise we'll feel better once we've been running 65s.
Where have you been training recently?
I've been in Flag since mid-January, so I'll be there until probably end of March, beginning of April, so that way I can do it here in person, which has been really nice.
Who are the workout buddies these days?
I've been doing pretty much solo workouts. I see Nikki and Emma quite a bit. We overlap, which is nice, and Woody's up there, so I'm staying in Airbnb with him. Flag just has a ton of people to run with, so that part's really fun. Vanessa Frazier is my really good friend, and we were teammates at Bowerman. She's been up there, so a lot of people to do runs with.
The last couple of years, you've kind of had some transitions. First Bowerman moves to Eugene, and then you changed coaches a couple of times. You've got the same structure now from last season, so do you feel like things are more settled in your whole setup?
For sure, yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I've said that most of the fall, and Jared and I talked about that toward the end of the season. I think the last couple of years, I feel like have just been really inconsistent for me. Like, I'll have a really good race or a couple of races, and then one where I don't know what happens. And I think a lot of that is just not having the consistency and just missing some time, and so the fall has been really nice for that. I feel like, even transitioning to work with Jared in March, there was not a lot of time before the trials, and I got a little bit banged up in May, so I kind of feel like we did the best that we can, and I'm really proud of what we did, but it's been nice to have the fall and really get on the same page, map out a whole year, map out the plan for the indoor season, how that fits into outdoor season, and just feel much more settled.
Yeah.
It's much nicer.
Yeah. And are you back and forth between Boulder and Flagstaff, or what?
So I was in Boulder all fall, but I think kind of our structure moving forward will be similar to kind of what I did at Bowerman, where I do a higher altitude stint and go to Flag January, February, March, and then probably 2 months before USAs, especially now. Just having Jared in person for those more race-specific workouts are really, really nice.
Because going into the new year, new Olympic cycle, it feels like a sort of a mental reset time.
Yeah.
How has that kind of affected your planning, your goal setting, for the year, but also just for the next phase of your career?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I actually think I was having a conversation with my strength coach Chris, and he was talking about looking at it as in Olympic cycle, and I think with track, especially with COVID changing the schedule, where it's like we've had either world champs or Olympics every year, basically since I started my pro career, and I think it's easy to kind of get focused so much on the next year, which is important, but I think it was really helpful when he was like, you have 4 years, like this is a big chunk of your career. Like I've been pro, I think, for 5 years, but thinking about, holy cow, like another 4 years until LA. I think that's helped in terms of looking at, I just want to be consistent. I've missed a lot of time with, you know, injuries and some overtraining, and thinking about, wow, 4 years, you don't have to do anything crazy, but if you're just consistent and you work on staying healthy, like just, I mean, I think I've seen that with, you know, even teammates that I've had, like Grant, for example, like at Stanford Environment, it's like he's missed almost no time in the last 8 years, and it's like that served him so well to see the people that are just so consistent, even, you know, Nikki or, you know, even Elle, like miss some time having a baby, but then just like so consistent and healthy, and I think that's kind of my big focus for the next phase of my career is just focus on consistency and making those smart decisions to stay healthy.
Nike's going to have a pro group in Flagstaff pretty soon, like Mike Smith's group, that's basically a Nike group.
Yeah.
Will you like link up with them with anything moving forward, or do you think you'll stay separate from that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's definitely exciting that they're starting a group up there in terms of like hopefully there'll be some Nike resources or a gym or just like being around a community of runners that's a group. But right now I'm really enjoying working with Jared, but maybe there would be some opportunity to link up. I'm not sure. I know Nikki and I have talked a little about that, just like seeing each other working out in the dome or stuff like that in Flagstaff. It's like, man, maybe sometime we could jump in. I mean, Nikki's so fast, and I think I come a little bit more from the strength side of things, so I think if that ever worked out, you know, something like that, I think we would complement each other really well.
Gotcha.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guys.